எஸ், வீடு, ஸ்கூல்ஸ், ஹோட்டல்ஸ், ஸ்டோர் ரூம் இங்கெல்லாம் பார்ட்டிஷன் வால் கட்டணும்னாலும்
இப்போ பில்டிங் போனஸோட ஃபர்ஸ்ட் சாய்ஸ்
Renocon Rapid Wall Panels.
Dr. Ravi, Secretary Orwell Foundation, Thiru Arvindan Neelakandanji, member of the governing body, Orwell Foundation, Thiru Gautam Ghosalji, another member, all the distinguished authors, writers, scholars, dear friends. To be at Orwell is a blessing. Every time I come to this place, it is just not an act of visiting, because this place is not like just a piece of geography anywhere else. This place is sacred. This place has the footprint of Mother. And the people living here are not mere collection of human beings, but the people who have been in the pursuit of, carrying on the legacy, fulfilling the dream of one of the greatest souls, Sri Aurobindo. And hence, though in my official capacity I do come, but the fact is it's much more than that. It is, for me, it is a pilgrimage. The Lit Fest, which began a year ago, it was quite befitting, perhaps long overdue, because this place is a source of inspiration for many others, not only those who are living as Aurobidians, but even elsewhere in the world, not only in India, but elsewhere in the world as well. An inspiration for making the world a better world, a more peaceful world, more united world. And for that, it's not that inspiration is just a mere wish or a sterile wish. There is a deep philosophy and an outline of growth, how this will lead to a peaceful, united, peaceful world. So this place being an inspiration, holding a literature festival is all the more befitting, because then people from all over, they come, they discuss, they share, get ideas, cross-pollination happens of thoughts, and they go back energized with greater gene for creativity. This year, today is the concluding day, and what I have been told by some of the participants, that the previous 3 days have been very, very fulfilling. I have got glowing reviews that the way these 3 days went on. Today is the concluding day, and I'm told the theme of this year Lit Festival is 5 Dreams of Sri Aurobindo. I know 5 dreams, all of us know. At least all of us present here, and all those who are in Aurobindo, they know. Or all those who are associated with Sri Aurobindo, they know. But these 5 dreams of Sri Aurobindo is so relevant today that I can't imagine any other thing better. Not that it was consulted with me, I must tell you, but Perhaps it was again divine that yes, this festival this year chose to keep the 5 dreams as a theme. Friends, the 5 dreams, though they look 5, but if you look at it, we all know that it is evolution of one and the same as it is growing, evolving right from the first tree. It's a sequencia. As it happens in an evolution, you grow from, as even in the consciousness, Jad, Jeev, Chetan, Manushya. Similarly, here also, it has various stages of evolution through which it is. So the 5 dreams are a sequence. And underlying all these, essence is the same, and the purpose is the same, to create a harmonious, peaceful world where the people live together as brothers and sisters, not only with each other, but also in harmony with the environment. The very first tree, which is the foundation, if you call it, because that's the beginning from where it evolves further, it talks about a free and united India. Free because at the time when he had articulated the dream, India was not yet free, it was on the eve of independence. So it was natural for him that yes, India must be free, that's the dream, and then it must remain united. Now when he talked about united India, what did he mean? Those of you who are familiar with Sri Aurobindo's writings and his thought process would bear with me that to understand what he meant by united India, one must understand what is it. And for Sri Aurobindo, India was not or is not a geography. He has defined categorically, explicitly. He calls India a Bharat Shakti. A Bharat Shakti, a living energy of a great spiritual philosophy. And when it talks about great spiritual philosophy, let there be no ambiguity or confusion in the mind. He refers very categorically to Vedic philosophy and Vedic Dharma. Say, India, which is the Bharat Shakti, is a living energy of the great Vedic philosophy, Vedic Dharma. And further goes that fidelity to it, how faithful Bharat, how faithful India remains to this Vedic Dharma, will determine its existence and identity. He puts the whole thing in the context. He further goes in that very continuation of defining what is India. He says that this fidelity to Vedic Dharma is the main cause of her being an immortal nation. It has never perished for thousands of years. It has survived. It has survived because of its allegiance to that great Vedic philosophy. And then says that alone secret, the only reason why India has survived and persisted is that allegiance. Now, then the question comes that what is that philosophy that he talked about? And how is that philosophy relevant to the world unity and peace? Because we know, those of us who have started, we know that. The Vedas, the truth, the fundamental truth that Vedas revealed, which Sri Aurobindo has dwelt upon extensively, is that the entire creation is permeated by the divine. Every element of creation has a presence, is an abode of the divine, and so it is sacred. Every element of creation is sacred. Individual, collective, and the creation are integrally one. What we see, the differences are mere apparent diversities. It's like a potter who makes from the same clay varieties of pots and pans. Each pot and pan looks different, but essentially it is made of the same clay. And what happens? All of us, we look different. But the fact is, we all have come from this very earth, and once we die, and we all die one day, we go back, forget about it, all the differences disappear, we go back to the same elements. This inherent unity, oneness of creation, and this being sacred is the core teachings of Veda, and from which it came Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, Mama Atma Sarva Bhutatma, Sarva Bhutesu Vedaikyam. All these are derivatives of this very truth that the entire creation is integrally linked to each other. And what we see differences are essentially are diversities. The fundamental thought process which created a lot of problem is looking at diversity as variations or looking at diversity as a difference. Imagine creation, the tree, the whole large tree, millions of leaves it has, no two leaves are alike. It has countless branches, no two branches are alike. And yet the leaf or a branch does not exist beyond the tree. It's all integrally one and the same. This is the core teaching of it. There is no other. It's all embracing. There is no scope for saying that you are other, I am different. There is no us and they, it is all we. This is the core teaching of Vedas. What could be more universal? What could be more potent a chemistry than this one that doesn't leave anyone out? Even those who curse or abuse or do not agree, even they are us. They are not different. They may be having their views okay, but you cannot say that no. If you see, the moment you say it is a denial of that fundamental truth which the Vedas have taught us, and which is the basis of Bharat. And this is how Bharat had emerged. Bharat, we all know, is not a creation of any king or any army or any military. Bharat was never ruled by any one ruler. Bharat is born out of this Vedic darshan, a philosophy, a Vedic dharma, that we are all one. And diversities are just mere various manifestations of one and the same. This wonderful, this powerful, universal truth which created Bharat as a Rashtra. When he talks about united Bharat, what does it mean? When Bharat was partitioned, he was deeply disturbed, because it was partitioned on a thought process, on a belief that people are different, they can't live together. When some people put the claim that no, they are different, and they succeeded. They succeeded means it was in one way a defeat or a decline of this living energy, Bharat Shakti. How did it happen? He was not, and that is why he always aspired that it must be right. No, friends, let us not get carried away by political connotation and ism. Let's understand what actually we have to be honest and true to Sri Aurobindo. If you do not believe, if someone doesn't believe that, okay, we are not one, that's a different matter. That is what happened. It's not, quite a lot of people today, they believe so in the world. But what Sri Aurobindo said about Bharat, and when he talked about united Bharat, was that Bharat is nothing but the living energy of that great spiritual philosophy, the Vedic philosophy. And its fidelity to it is the soul, the basis of existence and identity. And this is this energy that has sustained it for thousands of years. And it is this energy that is, he uses the word perpetual force of survival and revival. It is this force that has kept it all through. And it is this force that rejuvenates it when time comes, when the need comes. I think some people may ask a question, how do you say that it was a decline of the force that led to this partition, decline of this energy or fidelity to this fundamental principle? Just have a run through, a quick run through our national freedom movement. In 1905, when British partitioned Bengal on communal line, they said that, look, they created a separate East Bengal. What was the reaction in the country? The whole country went up against it. Bengal, it was Bipin Chandra Pal. Punjab, it was Nana Lajpat Rai. Maharashtra, it was Bal Tilak. Here in Tamil Nadu, it was V.O. Chidambaram. All over, not people in between. It was that furor or anger against this partition that created the Swadeshi movement. Swadeshi movement did not come with national freedom movement starting with Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi was nowhere on the side. He was not even in South Africa. But it was started because this country, Bharat, did not accept partition of a province on the line of community, that you create a separate Bengal from the others. And the result was, a couple of years later, by 1911, they had to undo the partition. I pose a question to every listener, all in the audience. Now, when 1905, a province of Bharat was partitioned, it was not taken as a separate country. There was a revolt all over, protest all over. So much so the British economy came under hit. Swadeshi had given a massive hit to the British economy. Manchester was on the verge of closing. But same country, about 40 years down the line, got partitioned, resected, and nothing happened. Nothing happened, as if those who were affected, they suffered, is all right. But for the rest of the country, nothing happened. Now, we need to ponder over it. Why? When there was no organized national freedom movement, there was not one leader leading the whole movement. At that time, people of this country revolted and made the British, powerful British, undo it. And when we had an organized national freedom movement, and then it was partitioned along the line which 40 years before the whole country had revolted. Why did it happen? You need to think over it. And if I have to suggest, I have to give a small clue. The day Vande Mataram was vivisected, Vande Mataram was cut into pieces and part was removed. That was our lack of fidelity to our basic foundational values, that we are all one. This was a denial of Bharat. And this is what Sri Aurobindo said. It is not fair, it has to be undone. Now, the fact that this institution that bears the allegiance to and is committed to carry on the legacy of Sri Aurobindo and Mother, which believed in that Vedic Dharma, the Vedic philosophy of oneness of the entire creation, there has to be honest and serious discussion on it. Writers, poets, thinkers, especially the writers and poets, they are people who feels the temper in the air. They pick up the heartbeat of the time. And that is how a good literature comes. That reflects the tone and temper of the age. Friends, today, Bharat is in a revival mode. It is no longer in a survival mode. Bharat is reviving. And revival is possible only through allegiance to that fundamental force, the source of which comes from our Vedas. We are all one. And this revival, when I said, we see it manifest in various forms. If you look at the believing that Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, we are all a family, one family. It brings a few examples. If you look at how I say it is, we are in the revival. Bharat is in the phase of revivalism. When COVID happened, and the whole world was affected, people were dying in countless numbers. At the time, first the advanced countries that made the vaccines, an expectation at the time was that this was a beast which has not spared anyone, the whole world was affected. Perhaps this was a time when kindness, the compassion within the human heart will come up. And those who have found the vaccine, they would share the vaccine with the less privileged, less fortunate people. But that didn't happen. They started hoarding the vaccines much beyond their needs and raised the price of vaccines. At that very time when Bharat made the vaccine, even before all the Bharatiyas were vaccinated, Bharat shared the vaccines with the needy people in 150 countries of the world. Because the core philosophy of Bharat, the fundamental value of Bharat is we are all one family. Those who are in the less fortunate countries, deprived countries, the people, they also are our brothers and sisters. We must share with them. At the time, there were people who were criticizing the government that how are you sending the vaccines when our people have not been vaccinated as yet? But no. There is no question of us and they. It is a we. When we are vaccinating our people, we will vaccinate the rest of the world also within our capacity. This was an example of revival of Bharat and Bharat Shakti. When Bharat got the opportunity to host the presidency of G20, G20 has been there for long. But look at this, nobody bothered that a large chunk of humanity, African continent, was not a member of it. Why? Because they were not powerful, they were not economically powerful. They were not militarily powerful. When Bharat got the opportunity, we said, no, they cannot be. There is no us and they, we are we. The African Union must be part of it, and they were made part of it. When there is conflict in the world, the countries fight, all through, we maintained a position of non-alignment. No, you are fighting, I am not with any of you. Is it what our basic fundamental values, is it what Vedic Dharma tells us? That you keep killing the people and I look the other way? No. So, Bharat rejected that non-alignment altogether. He says, no. We are aligned with peace. Both of you are fighting. It's a wrong thing. This is not acceptable. The solution is not in killing each other. You must sit and talk and sort out the problem. This is again a reassertion of the fundamental values of Bharat, which comes from the Vedic Dharma. We are all one family. All. This is the phase, an epochal era for Bharat. And it is not because Shri Aurobindo. If you look at this whole dream from one, it starts with Bharat, but it goes to the whole world. Because Bharat was not born for Bharat alone. As I said, Bharat is not a creation of any one person or one force. Bharat is born out of a darshan, a philosophy originating from Veda that erases the differences, celebrates the diversity, that we are all one. Like a flower which has 100 petals, no two petals are alike, different colors, and yet it makes a beautiful flower. This is how Bharat embraced all the diversities. In the age when Bharat is going through the revival phase, I think literature cannot be insulated from it. Because then that literature, I'm not sure what fate that would have, because it is supposed, though I'm a physics student, but I know in schools I had to learn and have learned the lessons. Literature reflects is the mirror of the society. It reflects the time and the society. The time at that particular time, what goes on in the society. And when Bharat is going through the phase of revival, and we are fortunate to be at a time when we are witness to this revival, and at the same time, we also have an opportunity to be a participant, to be a cause for revival. This is a unique opportunity that all of us living at this point of time in Bharat had. Never before, previous generations had no such good fortune. But we had it. And we have to add our might to build it. To build a peaceful world. And this awakening, this is what we call revival, which is happening across the society, even people who are less educated or not educated. Because it's like a wave. It touches, it affects, it influences, whether you consciously or not, but it touches you, it influences you, it impacts you, it transforms you. And this is happening. And what is expected is to give it a push for those who can. Those who are in the realm of science and technology, they are contributing in their own way to making Bharat capable of carrying on the message of oneness. Because when Bharat gets prosperous or Bharat grows, it doesn't threaten anyone. There is no hegemony involved in it. That is why there is not much apprehension in the large, wider world. Some interest could be there, who may not be happy, but for their reasons. But generally, there is appreciation. Because rise of Bharat is a force for good, is a force for peace, is a force for harmony. And in this force, while people of science and technology are contributing it through science and technology, I think the men and women of literature, they too have, I suppose, a responsibility, which we must be, I think, conscious of and do our bit. I'm very confident that this place, with its energy that it has, I have seen people coming over to Auroville, spending some time and going back transformed. There is a change when you come. By the time you go back, there is a change. It had majority of cases, one can see it, one can feel it. So at this place, when we talk about our literature being Behold the Literature Festival, this has to be bouncing with energy. Energy, that living energy that strengthens the sense of oneness, the sense of unity, the sense of not only unity of a human being, the unity of the entire creation, so that we are at peace and harmony with each other. We are also at peace and harmony with our environment. I'm sure it will happen. People are sitting here, they are very sensitive people, because writers are very, very sensitive people. You know what you are doing and what you will do. You are the vehicle of creativity, and through your medium of creativity, and through that, a lot will come. We have no doubt about it. I wish this festival, today's session, which is in English, I suppose, will be very, very productive. And there will be many more festivals hereafter. This is the beginning. And when we make a beginning, we don't have a concept of end. It will go on endlessly for the good of the world. Thank you very much. Thank you, friends.